The Jungian, daily. Marcus has been taking the 7:23 train to work for 8 years, and yesterday it was 17 minutes late. Not 15, not 20, 17 exactly. The same number that's been following him around like a lost dog for the past month. He first noticed it 3 weeks ago when his coffee order came to 17 17s. Then his parking meter expired at 5:17. His grocery receipt, 117.43. His new apartment number turned out to be 1717, which he swears wasn't mentioned when he signed the lease. The maintenance guy who fixed his broken faucet, badge number 17. Standing on the platform yesterday morning, watching other commuters scroll through their phones with that glazed early morning look, Marcus felt something shift. Not the mystical kind of shift people talk about in self-help books, more like when you're doing a crossword puzzle and suddenly see the answer that was hiding in plain sight. The thing is, Marcus works as a statistical analyst for an insurance company. His entire career is built on the premise that patterns mean something, that numbers tell stories, that what looks random usually isn't. At work, he can spot anomalies in datasets that would make other people's eyes glaze over. But when it comes to his own life, he's been trained to dismiss these things as coincidence. That's what his ex-girlfriend Sarah would have said. It's just your brain looking for patterns, Marcus. That's what brains do. She was probably right. Sarah was studying psychology. Always had an explanation for why people see meaning where none exists. Confirmation bias, she called it. Pattern recognition gone haywire. But here's the thing that's been eating at him. 17 was their number. The day they met, September 17th. The table where they had their first real conversation. Table 17 at that cramped Indian place downtown. Even the day she moved out. Exactly 17 months after they'd moved in together. The train finally arrived yesterday. Diesel fumes mixing with the morning fog rolling in from the bay. As Marcus climbed aboard, he caught sight of his reflection in the window. Tired eyes, rumpled shirt, the same face that's been showing up to the same job for 8 years. But something about seeing all those 17s had made him feel noticed, like something larger was paying attention. Carl Jung wrote about this phenomenon. Synchronicity, he called it. Not the mystical woo-woo version that gets thrown around social media, but something more grounded. Jung believed that when meaningful coincidences cluster together, they're pointing towards something important happening in your unconscious mind. The external world starts reflecting internal psychological shifts that you're not quite ready to acknowledge yet. For Marcus, 17 isn't just a number. It's a bridge between who he was with Sarah and who he's becoming without her. Every time it appears, it's like his unconscious mind tapping him on the shoulder, saying, "Pay attention to this transition you're in." The truth is, he's been sleepwalking through his life since the breakup. Same train, same route, same desk, same lunch, from the same sandwich shop. The 17s started appearing right around the time he signed the lease for his new place. His first apartment that he chose entirely by himself, with no input from anyone else about the neighborhood, or the rent, or whether the kitchen was big enough for 2 people. Synchronicities often show up during periods of individuation, those messy, uncomfortable times when you're separating from what other people expect you to be and starting to figure out what you actually want. The numbers aren't magical. They're more like breadcrumbs leading you toward parts of yourself that are ready to emerge. Sitting in his usual seat yesterday, Marcus realized he'd been waiting for permission to start over. Permission from Sarah, from his parents, from some external authority figure who would tell him it was okay to want different things now. But maybe the 17s were just his own deeper wisdom trying to get through to his conscious mind. The transition is already happening. You don't need anyone's permission to become who you're becoming. The train pulled into downtown right on schedule. Marcus stepped onto the platform, and for the first time in months, he didn't automatically turn toward his office building. Sometimes synchronicities aren't just about noticing patterns. They're about recognizing when it's time to break them.